Says we're live.
Hi, everybody.
Says the counter says 0, but there's a bunch
Yeah,
of
I'm not
people.
showing. Oh, there's the comment.
Are we live? Can anybody hear us? There's 5. We got Shellman. Looks like. No, I didn't find it, Amber.
Auto Salvage Outlaws. Landon Custom Classics.
Yeah,
Steve with
got
Big Block 402.
Chad
Martin.
Martin. Not too much. There. It's Steven, right? Is it Steve or Steven?
Yeah.
Steven.
Steve.
Buff's here. Busted Grill Garage is here.
What's up, Buff and Jacob? Yeah. Busted Grill Garage is the one I went on a road trip Saturday with. And Shellman. The three of us went on a road trip.
Oh, nice.
Saturday.
Tim Windsor's here. Got Jeff.
Colleen, he's here. Chat filling up pretty quickly. I like it.
Hey, look, Amber found my propane torch. I'm gonna light this heater real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll try to keep everybody entertained. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what to do with my hands. Well, hopefully everybody had a good week. And I know for me, I think Travis also, the weather around here has been decent. Kind of nice for January.
It's getting chilly at night right now. Oh, that's way too close to me. I'm going to be dying here in a minute.
Yeah, Chucky's Garage popped in.
How's it going, Nathan?
Yeah. Shellman says it's just physics. Well, I'm no physicist. We done figured that out. So, Unfinished Project is in here. Pure Pontiac Garage.
Unfinished Project is all about the map gas. Every time I pull that blue propane torch out, he wants me to paint the bottle yellow.
Yeah, see, I've had those blue propane bottles for years and years and years, and I've for some reason never upgraded to map gas.
I'll be honest, I've been using that same bottle of propane for probably 3 years now. I don't use it very often. If I ever quits working, maybe I'll put a yellow bottle on it.
Yeah, same here. Scarlett, the four-eyed Cuda's here. Lars, LP94. What's going on, man?
You got
Turbo
Tone 416.
Yeah, of course the torch, the big torch set I had in the shop, it was my neighbor's, and he confiscated it back. That's all right, but
I made a mistake. I was using the torch to cut out some parts a couple of days ago, and I walked away and left the acetylene on, and now I'm out of acetylene.
Oh.
Which is it was super low anyway, and it's kind of strange because it's a brand new torch, it's brand new hoses and everything. I don't know, it doesn't. I don't think it leaks. I haven't noticed any leaks, but
yeah, it doesn't take much of one. Torque Racing is here. Rowan, how you doing? Yeah. So yeah, it's been decently warm around here.
It's been really nice here during the day, and we're spoiled with the temperature during the day, so it feels really cold at night. But like right now, I don't know what the temperature is. It's probably not cold, but it feels cold.
Yeah, well, it's this weather where it's, gets cool at night real bad, or not real bad, but it warms up during the day. But I would rather have 40s and 50s during the day, and I don't care if it gets down to 20s at night, but the 40s, 50s during the day, this time of year, I will take it because that just means the ponds ain't going to freeze over. Hey,
Yeah.
Ryan from Streetcar Chronicles has popped in here.
How's it going, Ryan? I got to move this heater. It's way too close.
All right, Robert with Leighton Welding's in here. I've got a few more popped in. And, of course, Mrs. Squarebody watching from the comfort of her nest. And by the way, she wanted me to let Buff know that she made me I got a whole big thermos full of coffee. There's a whole pot of coffee in here, so I'm ready to go.
I lost track of time working on a wiring harness, and I'm a little bit behind.
That's all right. All right, Richard Jeff's in here, 39 at 7 in Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quality Control said, in case you don't see it or didn't see it, we're doing a live Friday giving away merch. So, yeah, because you guys, big announcement. I don't want to take it away from you. Or why don't you do your big announcement? What happened?
So our big announcement is we finally hit 1,000 subs. I think last I saw we were at 1,008. So after, well, including the time doing the woodworking, a year and a half of working on the channel, we finally made it to 1,000 subs. And it's because of everybody who's watching this and everybody who's, I mean, I sure appreciate all the people who've supported the channel and shared it, and you've shared it, and it's just been awesome.
Yep.
And it's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Oh, yeah. So you
I
guys
remember, I don't know. Well, so in June when we started talking about No Name Nationals, and 500 seemed like an impossible goal. And it's like, I never, at that time, 500 seemed like there's no way we're ever going to get to 500. And now we're at 1,000. It's been an awesome journey so far. I'm excited to continue that. Thank you, everybody. All the congrats in the chat. But yeah, so because we hit 1,000, we've got I want to say we have a couple of hats and we have a couple of t-shirts. We don't have any good sizes, but we're going to give them away anyway. Maybe somebody has a child that could wear it. I think we've got a small and one large t-shirt left from No Name Nationals, and we got a bunch of stickers and some iron-on patches. But Friday, we're going to do Quality Control can put the time in there. I'm pretty sure it's 6 o'clock, and we're going to shut down before John starts his live at 7. We're just going to, everybody who's in the chat, we're going to write down names, and we're just going to, Amber has some magic she's going to do on the iPad, and we're going to pick names that way. No, we don't have adult size. I think we have one small left and one large, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Richards has already got his adult size. He had to have it special made by Omar, the tent maker.
Yeah. Well, Richard got one of the pit crew shirts.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you got a fancy shirt. And the hats there, Amber's posting on it what it is there. Yeah, Q&A with both of us. We're both going to be on the live. We're figuring out the logistics of that.
Yep. But there's enough room on the screen. You guys can squeeze in.
Oh, yeah. We'll just have to get close like we actually like each other.
Yeah.
So this is my cup from Mrs. Richard Pratt, Amanda Pratt. I don't know if she's in the chat yet or not, but she makes these cups. It's rustic flower designs, I believe, on Facebook, but that's our actual sticker she put in there.
Okay, and it's like cleared over.
Yeah, it's epoxy over it.
Yeah, epoxy. Okay, cool.
That's awesome. It's a really nice cup. It's huge. It holds almost half a pot of coffee.
Yeah, I've got one that Mrs. Squarebody made us a matching pair. Actually, I'll get it real quick.
Okay.
Try that. It's over here on a shelf.
So
I don't.
Sheldon, we don't actually have any merch. We made a few things to take to No Name Nationals, and then we after that we haven't really replaced it. But that is on our goals for the year, is to get the merch game figured out. We actually have our own screen printer, a 4-head screen print machine, so we just gotta figure out what we're gonna do, and we will definitely let everybody know once we do have some merch.
Yeah, Richard said he's still waiting on Omar the tent maker for a square body stuff shirt. Well, he's kind of backed up right now. He's not sure what he's got going on. He's awful busy. But yeah, here's the tumbler that Mrs. Square Body had made for me. It's laser etched,
Oh, that's awesome.
which I don't use these kind of cups very often. Maybe just put ice water or something in it, but I like drinking my coffee out of either a ceramic mug or a styrofoam cup.
So I'll be honest, I usually drink it out of the only time I don't do a ceramic mug is like when I'm going to be in the car, and
And I
that's
do
when
it
I
in the,
use a tumbler.
yeah.
But I'm regretting putting my coffee in this because it's so hot. I'm not going to be able to drink
Yeah.
it till after the after-hour show.
Yeah, see I like hot coffee, but not hot.
Yeah.
I drink a lot of cold coffee, and it doesn't bother me any. So yeah, but even on road trips stuff, I'll usually bring my, sometimes I'll bring my ceramic mug with me. I just can't
Yeah.
fill it very full. But
So
we're already
Buff's
12
he's
minutes.
putting in his order for merch on the screen printing machine. We get it figured out. We'll let you know, Buff. A lot of it depends on how complicated it is, because we oh, sorry, I read another. I don't know if we even know how to do it. So for right now, we got to learn how to do it, and then we'll see if we want to adventure into making some stuff for other people. But Richard said his wife put him on a diet, so maybe he'll be able to wear an extra large pretty soon. I don't think so, Richard.
2X.
I think you're gonna
I
have
think,
you have to lose a few inches of height before you can wear an extra large.
yeah, I was gonna say an extra large is still kind of look like a half shirt, have his belly button hanging out.
Amber said take the lid off, so I took the lid off my coffee. We'll see if it'll cool down.
Yeah. Yeah, we're 13 minutes into this already, and it's been going good. We've got all sorts of stuff going on in the chat.
Yeah. So
I appreciate you guys. Yeah, go ahead.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say, there's a couple of people mentioned about the square body stuff merch they've been wearing. I appreciate you guys repping the channel with your merchandise. Yeah, crop top for Richard. All right.
Wait, what did you say about Richard?
Mrs. Squarebody says the crop top. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. No crop tops for Richard. Anyway,
Yeah.
So our topic for the night. So Ryan actually suggested this when we were asking for suggestions, and I kind of changed it a little bit. His suggestion was the pros and cons of building a truck for speed, and I kind of changed it to about like why you picked trucks and what your favorite part about building trucks is, and I think that's what we decided on. Amber will probably tell me I'm wrong, but so I'm gonna kind of let you go first. Like, what's the pros about building a truck in general?
Well, I'll answer your first question first. Why I got into trucks, or I didn't choose the truck life. The truck life chose me.
Yeah.
I just grown up in trucks. Always had trucks, and so that's just what I'm comfortable with. And I was hot rodding trucks before hot rodding trucks was the end thing, because here recently, the last maybe 10 years, I don't know, rear wheel drive cars were getting harder and harder to find, so people started using trucks, and it's really popular now. But Pros and cons. I mean, pros, rear wheel drive, heavy duty parts. It's not, flimsy stuff. The suspension is usually, rear springs are pretty stout. Depends on, I guess, how many leaves you got, but
Yeah.
you just got a lot of real estate to do stuff with it. If you want to put bigger tires or wider tires, you just got a lot of room. But the con to that is you've got a lot of mass.
Yeah, a lot of weight.
A lot of weight, and it's all in the wrong spot. It's all in the front. So that's the biggest
Yeah.
con to building if you're wanting to try to go fast or, something like that with a truck, all your weight is up front. So you've got to get rid of it up front and get it out back somehow. And those are two biggest pros and cons.
So, and I kind of second that with you as far as like the real estate thing. So, and well, also, I guess I'll start with why I built a truck. And my answer is not too much different than yours. I've always had trucks because every time I own a car, I use it like a truck. So I'm better off just to have a truck. But like I had a Saturn that I used to haul like semi clutches in the back of this thing's riding a wheelie down the road with a 300-pound clutch in the back of it. And so I just enjoy trucks more. They're more useful to me. And as far as building a race car truck, I didn't really choose. I wasn't planning on building a race car truck. It kind of just happened. It's just, I never, my intention wasn't to do with that truck what we've done with it, but it's like you said, the rear wheel drive cars are next to impossible to get at a reasonable price these days. And I had that truck. And then as far as like pros, like one thing that I've noticed, like the whole lift off front end on the truck, not possible with any type of unitized body car. I mean, to do what I did to be able to just take a couple bolts out and lift the whole front end off and leave the engine and all the running gear there, that's just not possible with any kind of, especially Mopar cars, because I don't know when they made the last full frame Mopar car that would be like a race car type. I think probably in the 60s. I can't think of one. I mean, even like the 60s B bodies were all unibodies. It's been a long time since there's been a frame type Mopar. So that's one of the major things. And then like you were talking about with the real estate on the Mopar side of things, if you have a big block in a Mopar with headers, forget about changing the starter without pulling the exhaust off. But on my truck, I can change the starter without touching the exhaust. Just there's so much more room to run the headers in there. You can, and they're not fender well headers or anything like that. They're regular, under chassis headers, and the starter will come out with the header still installed. So that's nice. John Wilburn's saying the Imperial, 64 Imperial. I was thinking, something had to be a big car back in the 60s was the last full frame Dodge Mopar vehicle.
Yeah.
So, and then like you were talking about as far as like tires too, without changing anything from the stock configuration with the right offset wheel, I can fit like a 12-inch tire in my truck or 11-inch tire in the back of that truck, and it'll clear everything. Yeah. And that's unheard of in a car.
Yep. And, doing axle swaps or anything like that is so much easier on the truck. With the GM platform, this 3/4 ton rear end that I put in this 1/2 ton, if it was a 3/4 ton rear end out of the same body style, it's out of a later model, like 2000 something. So the spring purchase, I had to cut them off and move them, and I've got it on top of the springs instead of under. But I could take the rear axle out of any 3/4 ton or 1/2 ton and put it in this truck, and the spring purchase, everything lines up. The 1 tons of spring purchase are inset a little bit closer, but it just makes it easy to swap stuff around. I think it'd be hard to fit this big 3/4 ton 14 bolt underneath a car. I'm sure it would fit, but underneath this truck without looking at the lug pattern and seeing 8 lugs on the back of a half ton, you wouldn't know that, it's a heavy duty rear end. But
yeah, I mean, it's the same way with the Dodges. I don't know for sure, but I think even on the Dodges, dualies and everything all have the same leaf spring perch width.
yeah, I'm not sure on the Dodge.
I'm trying to think. My dad's got a dually four-wheel drive Dodge frame sitting in front of the garage. I'm pretty sure it's got the same brackets on the frame as the 3/4 tons do.
Yeah, it might.
I think they're all exactly the same on a Dodge. And then, another thing that we've been struggling with is like the drive shafts. Like, and I'm sure that there's parts available to make a drive shaft work in a car with the bigger U joints, but that's all factory truck stuff that I think you were able to find and I was able to find. I just have to make it the right length and it goes right in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just and as far as parts availability, it's like, well, I've got a video coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Plug for the channel. But we went to a salvage yard, and there wasn't a bunch of square bodies there, but there's probably maybe 15.
Yeah.
And there's the parts are easier to come by. If I had a, late 60s, early 70s Chevelle or something like that sitting here, finding parts for that at any random salvage yard is impossible.
Yeah.
So for these trucks, I've got my own stash, but parts trucks are easier to come by. It's getting harder and harder. A lot of them are getting crushed still yet, but yeah, it's just easier to find parts for them.
Yeah. So Robert says, having trouble finding parts I put away to keep them safe from damage.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem that everybody has when you put them away so good you can't find them when you need them.
Yep. Put them in that safe spot.
And then Country Mile Garage says the Dodge is all the same for rear axles. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. I think they're all exactly the same spring width. With more leaves, the heavier it gets.
Yeah, GM had the frames are the same width. It's just the brackets, the hangers are narrower to fit the chassis cab dually rear end.
Okay.
So the brackets are narrower. So I think I won't say overall it's like around 2 inches. I should know off the top of my head because I'm a square body guy, but I can't remember all that stuff.
But is that so? When they did square bodies, did they make a cabin chassis without a bed on it from the factory back then? Like
yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
So is that the same width rear end as say a true dually with the bed with the dually fenders and everything?
Nope.
No.
Completely different. The chassis cabs were 14 bolt.
Okay.
And then the wide dualies, like that's in my crew cab, it's a Dana 70.
Okay.
They had the Dana 70, which was for the wide dually rear end. They had on the 1 tons, they had 2 different widths of 14 bolts. They had the chassis cab 14 bolt, which the axle itself, the axle housing, axle shafts, all that stuff is the same width. It's all in the backing plates and the hubs.
Okay.
Is all offset to come inward. But the chassis cabs were narrower, and then the 3/4 ton and 1 tons had the same width. 14 bolt for a single wheel 1 ton or a 3/4 ton.
Oh, okay.
Big Block 402. He's asked if I had found any 3-speed parts. I do believe I found a transmission. The guy's not sure if he's got any linkages or anything yet, but I have found the transmission. He said it's been sitting in his shop for like 20 years.
Richard and I were talking about that. There was a time when we had a pallet of Saginaw 3-speeds, like a pallet, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like stacked tall, but there were completely covering an entire pallet of Saginaw 3-speeds, and now we couldn't find one. The one we thought we had was a 4-speed.
Yeah. Yeah, Country Mile Garage says seeing people put the 9906 Ford axles under square bodies. The Sterlings, I think, isn't that what they are? The Sterlings?
I don't have any idea.
Yeah, I'm not real sure. That sounds about right, but they're supposed to be pretty stout.
Blake's here. Hello, Blake.
Yep, Blake's here. Robert Magny's here. Yeah, we've got quite the Mopar crowd in here, and some Pontiac guys. And
yeah. So the 99-06 Ford axles, are those? So is a square body a driver's side front axle or a passenger side front axle drop on the transfer? Passenger side.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is that? I think Dodges are driver's side drop on the older ones. I might be wrong.
No, they're passenger.
Are they?
Yeah, because you could take
those newer Ford's passenger side drop, or are they driver's side drop?
Driver's side. Ford's always been driver's side.
Okay.
But yeah, the older Dodge, like your body style, the square body Dodge.
Yeah.
Those are all passenger side drop front axles, and they will. I think the spring perches are just a little bit narrower than the GMs.
Okay.
And I mean, I've seen guys put them in there without moving anything.
Oh,
it's
wow.
that close.
Oh, wow. Because they're all Dana 60s up front and Dana 70s in the back, right? In the diesels anyway.
What was that?
They're Dana 60s up front and Dana 70s in the back in the diesels anyway.
Yeah. On the GMs, the 1-tons had Dana 60 up front and either 14 bolt or Dana 70 in the back.
Okay.
3/4 tons were depends on the year, up to 80, 79, 80. They were Dana 44s up front for 1/2 ton and 3/4 tons, and then from 80 on up, the newer ones be a 10 bolt up front for 1/2 and 3/4 tons.
Richard says, Chad, you are correct. So
on what?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember what I said.
Badger's asking about the game Snow Runner. Apparently, there's a bunch of square bodies and Dodge trucks. I haven't seen that one.
Huh.
And then Road. Dana 44. Big Box Suns. Is that a 1/2 ton 95 Ram with the Dana 44 in the front?
I'd say so. I think all 3/4 and 1-tons are I think the 3/4 ton Dodges, the newer models, like the 95s and stuff, were Dana 60s for 3/4 ton. Maybe.
I don't have any experience with a 3/4 ton gas engine. The only one I've ever seen, Dodge front diff.
Yeah.
Richard said you're correct on the Dodge front diff. The only
Okay.
newer Rams that I've been around have been diesels, and they were all 60s in the front, I'm pretty sure. And I think some of them got 80s in the back, and some of them were 70s, and I don't know what the difference there was.
I don't think there's a whole lot of difference.
Between a 70 and 80, I don't think so either. I know a 60 cover fits all three of them, right?
Yeah. I think there's a little bit difference in the actual covers or the housings, but the covers will all interchange.
Yeah.
I know Dana 60. I've got a Dana 60 carrier in my Dana 70, but I had to machine the carrier to accept wider bearings.
Oh, okay. Is that so that you could have more options for parts? Because the 70s are pretty limited, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, it's actually a Dodge Carrier out of a Dodge Dana 60. Because it's got the power lock. It's the power lock Carrier.
Okay. So Mrs. Squareberry wants to know who this Dana girl everybody's talking about is.
She's very popular.
Yes, she is. Everybody knows her.
Yeah. Nobody to worry about, Mrs. Squarebody.
So, one other thing that I was thinking about with the trucks, and now I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know. I lost it.
Yeah.
Unfinished project says she's stout.
Yeah.
She is. Especially depending if she's got a big number.
All right. So, actually, Mrs. Squarebody brings up a good point. Who is Dana? Well, Dana is the company. Dana Spicer is a company that manufactured the differentials or the rear ends, the axles for about everything. You can find Dana axles in a little bit of every make and model.
Yeah.
So Dana is a company.
So I think that one was meant for you. Reloading Fun ported some peanut ports, put bigger valves in, flows increased by 50 CFM from 150 to 500 thousandths. They outflow stock 781s by, well, here, I could just do this.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing is those peanut ports, everybody wants to throw them away because they're peanut ports. And, you know, even without putting bigger valves in them, actually, I was discussing this with Busted Grill Garage. He had several peanut ports sitting in his shop, and he's like, are they good for anything? I said, yeah, they're, I mean, if you're not looking for 600, 700, 800 horsepower, they'll, even with the standard valves in them, do a little pocket porting, a little bit cleanup, and they'll support, at least 500 horsepower with the right, camshaft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what Reloading Fun is saying, bigger valves and a little bit of work to them, they outflow the stock 781s, and they have smaller combustion chambers, so you got more compression.
Nice.
It's good stuff.
Oh, it changed. Dana's stout, but stance is good.
What was Dana's stout?
Dana's stout, but the dance is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of small Danas out there too.
Yeah, I've got a little baby Dana in the front of this CJ. It's I think is it a 30?
Yeah, they had little bitty Danas.
I'm pretty sure the axle tubes on this thing are smaller than the drive shaft in my pickup.
Yeah.
I know for sure on the AMC 20 that's in the back, they're definitely smaller than my. Hopefully, they're thicker.
Yeah, Jay with Irish Outlaw said he's possibly, allegedly, just maybe ordering big block Chevy parts.
Oh.
Huh.
Could be a 402. Is that going to go in the Javelin?
I doubt that. Yeah, Reloading Fun with the bigger valve supporting the peanut porch flow 270 at 500. Yeah. Yeah, 270 is plenty of flow for, that would easily support over 500 horsepower.
Yeah, I would think. Punisher Lamont says Dana 35 must be my CJ has a Dana 30. I can't remember. Busted Grill says 30 and 35 in his Jeep. I know for sure this is an AMC 20 in the back. It's an 86 wide or 83 wide track Jeep.
How about
Jeff
Jeff and a YouTube channel?
So he's talking about Jeff, my buddy Jeff Johnson, Speed and Marine, he's starting up a YouTube channel. He wants to try to go to No Name Nationals in 2024, but he's just getting started. If you feel like it, sub to him. He's so far got one short he did of an RC car he built. It's a really cool looking car. So I guess I'm not a big RC car. He races RC cars on a circle track. And
Oh,
I'm not
wow.
a big RC car guy, but apparently, so it's a Traxxas car, and they have a Lexan body, but everybody's gone to doing vinyl. He's still old school and actually paints it, but you paint the inside of it, and all of his numbers and everything are all painted in, not like vinyl. It's cool looking. It's a really cool looking car.
Yeah, I think I've seen that on Facebook or somewhere.
Probably, yeah. It's been on Facebook. He got out of it, tried to walk away from it, and now he's going back. So,
yeah, Robert Magni, I'm not sure. Said his 202 Magnum heads are 270 at 500. Yeah,
that's pretty good out of a small block head. I mean, for a small block cast iron head, anyway.
Yeah.
Jeff's Punish Lamont says Dana, the AMC 20 is better than the small Dana. Yeah, I had thoughts of axle swaps and everything else, but right now I'm ready to set this thing on fire. So we're just going to leave the axles that are in it because they'll burn just as good as anything else. I got to get it outside first, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Jeff
trying to think of anything.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Country Mall Garage says RC car racing is cool. Yeah, I've seen some of his videos. It looks like it's a dirt track, like a bank dirt oval track. And talking to him, the setup on these cars is as much as it was when we were setting up race cars for the asphalt, like full size race cars. Like they're talking about weights and tires and shock valving, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just scaled down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that RC world. I've got a little RC rock crawler. I played with it a little bit, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Me and my youngest boy Shelman got into them, and I think it's missing several parts because I think he stole them for his. But they're fun to play around with. They're just another expensive hobby that I don't need to get into again.
Yeah. So Reloading Fun said that with the stock valves and the porting, flows increased by about 20 CFM. So 250 up to 500. He said that in the next comment. And then it went up. That's up from 227 at 500.
Yeah. That's one thing I would love to have a flow bench at my disposal. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think it'd be a lot of fun just to see what you could do.
Yeah. Chad Martin says, off topic, I have a turbo 350 and a 700 R4. 700 be worth rebuilding over 350. Yeah, I mean, the 700 R4 can be built to handle a lot of horsepower and a lot of abuse. It takes a little bit more money, but it depends on what you're putting it in, what your intended usage is for it. I mean, just a daily street driver, put 700 R4 in there, get your overdrive. I've got a 200 4R sitting out in my field. I need to check it out, make sure it's worth rebuilding. I'm thinking about rebuilding it and putting it in cream puff, and then going with some little shorter gears in it. And because the 200 R4, some say they're actually a little bit stouter than the 700. They're dual pattern bell housing.
Okay.
And the gear ratios are a little bit different. I can't remember off the top of my head what they are, but I think they're a little closer together. I think first gear is a little higher than the 700, so there's not as much space in between first and second.
Okay.
But yeah, there's nothing wrong with rebuilding one of them. You just gotta got to get the right parts in them so they'll hold up.
Yep. So
Yeah.
Busted Grill did some research and figured out what his aluminum big block heads are, even found some flow numbers.
Well, get that on your channel, Jacob, and share it with the rest of the world.
Punch Lamont says that apparently the 204R came in Grand Nationals.
Yep. Yeah, they came in the Buick Grand Nationals, a lot of non-performance cars also, but that's why they're dual bell housing, because they used them in a lot of the G bodies.
Okay. So dual, would that be Chevy and like BOP or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Buick Old Pontiac?
Buick Old Pontiac, and also the small or Chevrolet bell housing pattern.
Yeah. So Country Mile says that if it's a street driven car, I can't see any reason why I wouldn't want to have overdrive if I could have it.
Yeah, he said both
transmissions.
He said the 350, 350 to 400 horse. Yeah, the 700 R4 with the right parts in it, and it's third and fourth gear and servo upgrade, a couple other things. And I'm not the be all end all the transmission upgrades, but I've know a little bit about it to know that it can work. But yeah, just a few upgrades to 700 R4, and you'll have a nice overdrive transmission that will be just as good and last just as long as the 350, a turbo 350.
And if you're going to do any kind of street strip, if you at that point you can gear it a little better to be able to go to the track and still have a comfortable driving RPM when you're driving it on the street. So apparently, Reloading Fun says there's plans for a DIY flow bench online.
I've thought about that. I'd like to do some research on building my own, because that's just kind of what I like to do. I like to build my own stuff.
Yeah.
And having it at your disposal will save tons of money. Of course, if you build your own, then you're going to have people say, well, it wasn't, it could be off from
every one of them. Every flow bench in the country flows a different number anyway.
Yeah. And a flow bench
is just doing ABA testing. It doesn't matter how much it's off.
Yeah, exactly. If you test the stock head, do some work to it, test the same head with modifications on the same flow bench, and that gets you your scientific stuff.
Yeah.
You take it to another flow bench, it's going to be a little bit different. It just tells you your gains. So it'd just be a nice, fun tool to have to play around with.
Richard says he had a IROC with a 383 and a 700, and it survived. And if Richard, that's saying a lot if it survived with Richard driving it.
Yeah, that comment makes me want to grow a mullet.
An IROC?
Yeah. Punisher said, there's a lot of parts of the train between the 700 and the 4L60. Yeah. Essentially, basically the same transmission. The 4L60 is just all electronic on the valve body.
So that's like that Dodge did that. So you had the 727 forever, and then they made let me get this wrong. I believe it was a 36 RH when they renamed it. It's basically it is a 727, and then the 46, and then they had the A500, I believe, or the A518 was a 727 with the overdrive and the tail shaft housing. Yeah. And then they changed that to a 46 RH, and then when it went to electronic, it became an R. It's just a mess. It's all basically a 727. They've just kept upgrading and changing parts to make it overdrive until they went to the new stuff that they have now. Yeah. But then there's
I think I rebuilt the 56. Shellman can tell me what it was. It was in his Jeep. We rebuilt it. Something happened, didn't get something right. So, but anyways, that Mopar transmission, that overdrive was just basically, once you took the tail shaft off over that housing off of it, the overdrive, it's It's a 727. I mean,
Yeah, that'd be
super simple.
probably a 46 already. Was it fully electronic?
No.
No.
Well, yes, it
Okay.
was.
I say fully electronic. So what makes it an E is it has an electronic governor instead of a. Oh, Shellman says a 44 RE.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows. He can remember their numbers better than I can.
I don't know. I don't know if I was thinking that 46 was the smallest of the 727, but I could be wrong. I don't know them all that well. So Reloading Fun says,
Yeah.
Richard Holden says he made 511 horsepower of peanut port heads.
Yeah. My opinion is I think you could easily get 500 horse out of a big block with that amount of flow. Yeah, I watch a lot of Richard Holdner stuff. He does a lot of cool stuff and just a lot of testing.
So apparently in the 90s, it was popular to put a small block Ford bell housing on a 700 or 4 because it was so much better than the Ford AOD.
Reloading says 400. Yeah. Well, a stock one probably won't do it for long. But yeah, sky's the limit. I mean, Cletus McFarland's running a turbo 400 in a 2,000 plus horsepower, but El Camino running.
Well, aren't the street outlaws guys are running a lot more horsepower than that with turbo 400s, but I don't think there's much left of a factory turbo 400 in those.
Yeah, they're aftermarket everything. So, but a stock case, I think it'll be okay in that, but you have to upgrade the internals. I mean, it'll last for a while with all stock stuff, but
everything breaks eventually, though.
Oh yeah.
Country Mile says 47 RH is hydraulic, 47 RE is electronic, and yes, that one, and it's the governor and the way it tells the transmission to shift changed from a hydraulic governor based on tail shaft speed to an electronic governor based on tail shaft speed.
Yeah.
Punisher says a stock turbo 400 roll 500 with a shift improver kit and a good cooler.
Yeah. Chad Martin's comment. I'm gonna get 500 at 339. Well, after I hit the gravy bottle on it, yeah. I think, and I've had a lot of people comment on the last video of it, where I asked, put in the comments what you think it might make, and a lot of the comments are right where I'm thinking is right around the 400 horse mark.
Yeah. I think you're there. Busted Radio Garage says, stop by just to say congratulations on 1,000. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thanks for stopping by. A million, that's not even, that doesn't even seem feasible at this point.
Yeah.
We're going to focus on 2,000 right now.
Yeah. Well, the more you get, it seems like the easier they come. It just starts flowing sometimes. And then, you'll hit a lull where it's like nothing's happening.
So we'd notice that even in the climb to 500, like we'd get 60 in a week, and then we'd go a week and not even get one. And then it's like, or we'd go backwards. And we're like, geez, we're never going to get there at this rate. And then we'd get 60 the next week. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, because like this last couple weeks, well, this first part of this year has been, I've put out plenty of videos, but it just doesn't seem like they're going anywhere. And I was whining to Mr. Square Body about that earlier today, but but it's just one of the things. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Just keep doing my thing, and it'll all work out. Reloading says any difference between a stock 400 and a 4L80 as far as the power they can handle. Not real sure. I mean, the 4L80 is essentially a turbo 400 with some overdrive and extra gear in it. From what I've been told, they will handle as much as a turbo 400.
So, Busted Rail Garage says he's going to see us on Speed TV one day. I hate to tell you, but I don't think that even if I was ever offered a TV show, I would do it. I'm just not interested.
No.
I don't think I'll ever be offered one, but don't worry if I am, I'm probably not going to do it.
Yeah. Engine Masters, Chad Martin says Engine Master. Yeah.
But that doesn't count. It blew up right after that.
Yeah. But up to that point, now if they would have taken it apart and gapped the rings, it would have survived another pull or two. But they were hitting it with two stages. And
it was a soft hit too, with all that progressive
control. Yeah, it was very progressive. But that's the thing is, I'd seen that a long time before I started messing around with this 305. I thought, I got to the point like, let's do that. Let's do our own version of how much nitrous can this thing take before it blows up. Because I really honestly wanted to get rid of that 305, just destroy it in a spectacular fashion on video. But it never died. It wouldn't die. I was hitting it with a 250 shot right off the launching it like 5,000 RPM and dumped the clutch, and it was like an instant 250 shot. And I think my best 60 foot, which is not great, but considering the package, a 4,200 pound truck, nothing, it's stock suspension, nothing set up right, and a 305 and a truck 4-speed. I think my best 60 foot was like a 190, 170, 190.
With a 305 that doesn't have any torque, that's a pretty good 60 foot.
Yeah. So it wouldn't do that without the nitrous, but with that extra 250 shot right off the launch, I mean, at 5,000 RPM, it would go. Yeah.
Punch Lamont says he ran a 305 in a dirt track car for a whole season, hitting the rev limiter all night.
Yep.
I tried that one time. We blew up a motor. We'll see you later, Busted Radio. Thank you.
See ya.
We blew up a motor like the night before or a couple days before a race, and we were trying to get perfect attendance, and so we had to take the car out there, and it had to qualify. So I had a 305 that a buddy of mine brought it to me and said, here's a 350, you can have it. Well, it wasn't a 350, it was a 305. So Richard and I, with a battery and some jumper cables and a can of gas, got it running on the ground there to make sure it even ran. And then we pulled the heads off of it, put steel shim head gaskets on, tried to get a little bit more compression, but it already had steel shim head gaskets. And somewhere we read that you could reuse them, so we reused them. I just copper coated them, put them back on.
Yeah.
And then I put 1/6 aluminum roller rockers with stud girdles and circle track valve covers, and we were limited to performer intake at the time, so performer intake with my 2-barrel carburetor, and I didn't change the cam or anything. We just put it all together and we took it out there, and it didn't survive. It made it through hot laps. It was running real bad, and it didn't survive qualifying. It locked up at the end of qualifying, but it was like 290 degrees when I came off the track after qualifying. So it sped up and never ran again. I didn't think it was going to make it, I still don't know what happened. I just don't think it wasn't a good running motor to start with, and then trying to turn it.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to turn it 5,000 or 6,000 RPM, and it didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it.
Well, see, just because yours failed, all 305s are junk now. So.
Oh no! It was destined for failure.
Yeah, but that's where a lot of people's opinions go from. Is they know a guy that done exactly what you did, and that 305 didn't survive. So no 305 could ever survive that, and that's the thing is, you could have done that with a 350. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it could have been a 454, and in that situation, it probably would have blown up in the same fashion.
But
it was not right, and all it was it was intended to make it go around the track so I could get points for qualifying, and it did that.
Yeah, he's reloading. He's got 305 in El Camino, getting a 489.
What is a 489?
Quarter-inch stroked 454.
Okay.
He put a cam in 305, played it. Yeah, I'm not so sure about the whole problematic camshaft thing. I haven't put a lot in the last 6 months, but the big block in this one's got a flat tappet with brand new lifters. Didn't have any issues with it. I'm not 100% buying that it's a flat tappet. I mean, I know people have found some issues with camshafts and the parts that could cause.
Check it. Uncle Tony has a video on his channel about how you can check the taper on the camshaft, and then if you check the crown on the lifters, as long as you have taper on the camshaft and crown on the lifters, and you break it in properly, and use the right oil and get good pre-lube on it, and I think the most important thing is it needs to turn over half a turn and start when you first start it. You need to have your distributor set, have your carburetor primed, and have it ready and have the engine oil primed. So as soon as it starts, it's got oil pressure and it's lubricating that cam, and then run it for 20 minutes. And I mean, if there's a problem with the machining, there's another channel that I was watching that he did a bunch of testing on it. And even the hardness was within spec on a cam that failed. It was just, I think the what he found is the lifters weren't machined right. They were the wrong shape or something. I don't remember exactly, but
and that's the thing is, it's hard to say exactly what's failing in all of them.
Yeah, I'd be curious, Punisher, did you happen to check that before you put it in to see if it had the taper on the camshaft like it was supposed to? I know that's never, and I've never checked that. I never would have thought to check it. I would now, just because I've heard that, and I would be afraid to put one in without checking it at this point. But it's under his bench for a future project.
Yeah. No, I've had plenty of flat tappet failures in the past, but it was my fault. But there's I don't know. I'm still a big fan of flat tappets, and I've this 339. My plans are to put the flat tappet cam that was in the 305 because I really like that profile. It worked really well.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, if I'm going to try to get everything I can out of this, I should upgrade to a roller. But then I thought, everybody hates on the 305. Everybody hates on flat tappets. So I'm going to keep those two things together and see what kind of power we can make with a flat tappet camshaft and a 305 block.
So, and this, again, was 10 years ago when we were circle track racing.
Yeah.
And we had one cam go flat, and it was completely our fault because we didn't check piston to valve clearance. I don't remember if we didn't check it right or if we didn't check it at all. It's one of the first motors we built, and it had piston to valve contact, and it flattened the cam. It wasn't enough to hurt anything else, and the best we could figure is when it was trying to break in, it just beat the oil cushion out of the lifters as it was trying to break in. It flattened the cam during break-in.
Yeah.
And then after that, we pulled several apart because we thought we flattened the cam, but that was that Isky Rev Loop thing.
Yeah.
We got 1 minute left. Quality Control, put the link in there for the after hours show at some point. I don't know if she pinned it. I can't see if it's pinned on YouTube on what are we using? StreamYard?
Yeah.
But
There it is.
There it is. Come over and hang out with us, and if you want to get on there, we'll put the link to join us, and we can chit chat for a couple hours or see how long this goes.
Yeah, because I've got to go work tonight, but I've still got a couple hours I can hang out. So yeah, it's 8:00. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Next week, same time, 7:00 will be on my channel, and we'll figure out some sort of topic to talk about.
All right, see you over there, Chad.
See ya.
Bye, guys.